Do you believe in miracles? Thousands of golfers all around the world are already believers. Prepare to dive into the fastest growing movement in golf, the over-the-top miracle swing. This game-changing system is the brainchild of golf sensation Cristo Garcia, the man who swung as Ben Hogan on the Golf Channel.
In the whole decade I'd been doing my swing evolution, I never once entertained the thought of going over the top.
Most of the greatest golfers in history used over-the-top swings before modern instructors began spreading new theories on how to swing the club. In a sport overwhelmed by modern theories, which have left many golfers grappling with swing confusion, the original champion's golf swing has resurfaced to rescue golf enthusiasts, saving them precious time, effort, and money. Most golfers instinctively swing over the top because it creates the most leverage.
Oh, that was easy.
Now, they are learning how to swing OTT properly and fix bad over-the-top swings with just a couple of tweaks.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless, but thank you.
It just looks so easy.
Shot a 69.
Wow.
It's clicked in.
That's
So this whole inside over the top deal is just makes it so much easier.
The 7 sacred steps of the over-the-top miracle swing is a course specifically designed to end the swing confusion that modern golf instruction has created.
You just found something, in my opinion, that was just hidden right underneath our noses. And if you just listen to what you're sharing and why it works, it makes perfect sense. It's the last swing people are going to try, period.
What are your opinions about the modern swing versus the way you were taught the game?
Well, I think it's, it's what they do today. Do I like it? No. I think it's harder on the body.
Featuring appearances by golf's biggest names, this video series distills Cristo's wealth of hidden swing secrets into one single comprehensive system.
Woo! I love your swing.
Avoid the new age trap of connection disruption and experience the vintage power of the original champion's golf swing.
The amount of emails you were getting from golfers from all across the world and how this was impacting their game and instantly improving their games. I said, we have to bring this to the world. We have to get this to as many golfers as possible.
Avoid the new age trap of connection disruption and experience the vintage power of the original champion's golf swing. Get ready to believe in miracles. This is the over-the-top miracle swing.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Ryder, and I am joined with my great friend, Mr. Cristo Garcia, the founder of the over-the-top miracle swing.
How you doing, Gabe?
I'm enjoying myself out here at the beautiful Grand Del Mar. It's a lovely day, perfect range, and I'm watching golfers improve by the second.
That's what we're all trying to do, right?
That's the journey of golf. It's the journey of life, you know? Make a little bit of progress each and every day, learn to grow within ourselves, and enjoy the game and life a little bit more.
Well, I've been enjoying the game a lot, if you haven't noticed.
Well, I remember the day you called me talking about the over-the-top miracle swing.
Right?
And first was, the first thought that went through my mind is, Cristo's crazy. He's always been crazy. He's always going to be crazy. But when you told it to me and you showed me the swings of Sam Snead and Jackie Burke and Arnold Palmer, I go, no one's ever pointed that out to me, but it made perfect sense.
They're all inside and over the top.
And I grew up as a golf instructor. I used to teach.
Yeah.
I was always taught that anything over the top, anything having to do with inside and over is horrible, bad, and we're teaching everyone to do the opposite.
You're taught not to take the club back to the inside first, right?
Absolutely not. Most instructors I work with, all the way up until present day, hands are going back on this straight line, the club head is staying out in front of you, and I just felt like that was the gospel.
I thought the same thing too, until 2 years ago, when I said, for the heck of it, I'm just gonna go over the top. That was as pure as anything I've ever hit in my life. And I flushed the first shot, and my life was forever changed. My life was changed in an instant, Gabe. In an instant when I hit that shot.
Yeah, and you haven't gone back since. You just found something, in my opinion, that was just hidden right underneath our noses.
I tried to do what has been taught the last 20, 30 years, this more modern style of centered pivot swing where there's not as much of a lateral move with the hips. But then when I started to do things like the walk through, I allowed my left heel, I experimented with that coming up. And it's a different style of swinging, but you cannot tell me that there's anything better. Do you know what I mean?
I understand 100%, and I'll enlarge on that. Maybe the best swing is a man who played over 100 years ago, Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones' swing, when I watch him swing, impresses me a hang of a lot more than 90% of professionals that swing today. Isn't that amazing? And he swung with a walking stick, basically. And he played with a ball that went 100 yards less. Think of what he scored. This man, Bobby Jones, may be the best player that ever lived. And his swing, if you look at his swing, it is perfection. Absolutely perfection. Now, a lot of pros who teach won't teach that anymore.
Now let's look at the original over-the-top genius, Bobby Jones. He has that lovely rhythm, reminiscent of Sam Snead. And Gary Player told me he thinks that Bobby Jones might have had the greatest golf swing ever. Now with his left arm isolated, we can see that there's clearly an over-the-top move. Inside, up, and out. Very often over-the-top swingers have a slight across-the-line position at the top, which allows them to reroute the club and swing down low left, as Mr. Jones demonstrates here. Now if we take a look at this, looks like maybe an 8 or 9 iron. He takes the club inside, P2, inside and up, and then out to the ball. I believe that this is the most natural motion, similar to that of a throw.
And if you just listen to what you're sharing and why it works, it makes perfect sense. It's the last swing people are going to try, period.
I've been taking lessons with some of the most famous golf instructors since the 80s, and nobody's ever taught this to me. I've never seen it in a magazine that this is not only okay to do, it's the best way to swing a golf club.
If you watch his swing face on, it looks perfect. I mean, it's just magnificent. When you watch it down the target line, you can see the more of this. So there was more of the Sam Snead, a little more early turn in the backswing, and then you'd have to put it back on plane on the downswing. It's a very natural. Most kids that I teach, they naturally, take the club a little more around and then put it this way. There was a big loop, and boom. So that's kind of a natural move, and there have been so many great players.
I remember, Gabe, I was standing out there, and I was having problems I was just hitting pushes and hooks all day. And I remembered what Jim McLean said about his old roommate, Bruce Litsky. He called him an over-the-top flusher. And I was just standing on the range, I'm like, over the top, that's just crazy. And literally, in the whole decade I'd been doing my swing evolution, I never once entertained the thought of going over the top because it's bad. Everybody teaches you it's bad. And so I stood there, standing just like this. I was like, I'm gonna try and go over the top just to see what happens. And I flushed that first shot, and I just couldn't believe it.
And still flushing them. And one of the reasons why I wanted to help you bring this movement to the world is because I've seen you make over 1,200 YouTube videos. I've seen you get millions and millions and millions of views, and I've seen you make YouTube videos on many topics. But when you brought the miracle swing out, the over-the-top miracle swing, and the amount of comments you were getting, the amount of messages you were getting, the amount of emails you were getting from golfers from all across the world and how this was impacting their game and instantly improving their games back to where it was. We get so many messages that you get, Cristo, that are people talking about how this is how they used to swing in high school, in college when they played their best golf, and then they were taught out of it due to modern golf instruction. and they're re-picking up that distance. They're re-picking up that great contact. They're re-picking up that speed and that consistency. And that's why once I was seeing the message you were getting, I said, we have to bring this to the world. We have to get this to as many golfers as possible.
I'm in absolute shock every day when I see my messages that I get, the comments that I get. I've received hundreds and hundreds of personal messages from folks who are head over heels in love with the swing. They're overjoyed that they can hit solid golf shots again, and they're thankful they have permission to swing over the top again. Because it's so taboo, people will look at you and say, hey, you're swinging over the top. But that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. And if I was to tell you to look up the top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour, you're going to see names like Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper,
Yep.
on and on. They're all inside over-the-top swingers. Hey guys, let's take a look at the top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour, starting with Tom Watson.
I figured out the golf swing in 1992. I got tired of hitting the ball fat. I got tired of hitting the ball out to the right. And I said, to hell with it. I'm going to hit over the top of it like this. I want that ball to start straight. So I changed my golf swing right then and there, and it felt like this. It felt like that. But what happened, it was going here and here like this.
So if we take a quick look at Tom Watson's swing, we can see that now he is a committed over-the-top swinger. Next we have Phil Mickelson, one of the all-time greats, and we can see he takes it back to the inside, and he is also an over-the-top swinger. Next is the great Walter Hagen, inside and over the top. Now if we take a look at Billy Casper, we're going to see one of the most underrated players in history with an over-the-top golf swing. Next is Byron Nelson. Look at that move. Arnold Palmer is another great champion. He is also inside and over the top. Now my idol, Ben Hogan, was the one who surprised me the most. Here we see him inside and over the top. Jack Nicklaus, whom I had the pleasure of interviewing in his home, is also inside and over the top. Now that brings us to the great Tiger Woods. Here he is rehearsing his over-the-top move, and although he doesn't have a big over-the-top swing, after he hurt his back, he made a decided effort to swing more OTT. And finally, we have the great Sam Snead, one of the greatest over-the-top swingers of all time. And there you have it. The top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour are all over-the-top swingers. And the reason why is because the best way to leverage the club is by going over the top. It's crazy to me to think that the best, most natural way to hit a golf ball has been denied. It's been scorned. It's been ridiculed for decades. And it's actually the simplest and easiest way to hit great golf shots.
You just found something, in my opinion, that was just hidden right underneath our noses. We have Victor Hovland, we have Matthew Fitzpatrick, we have Brooks Koepka, we have Scotty Scheffler. We have players that move their hands and the club inside on the backswing.
That's right.
And over on the downswing, period. Simply as we're saying it, inside and over. And I've never had any golf instructor or seen any golf instructor teach that or promote that or utilize that if players are already doing that. And to rearrange people's whole swings, which is the most natural way to swing. That's why you see juniors do it. That's why you see 90+% of amateurs swing that way and try to rearrange their whole swing is just inefficient, waste time, waste energy. And you see people spend more money on instruction and not get anywhere.
Right.
And
right.
that's a horrible predicament to be in, to spend more time, energy, and money and get worse.
It's something that everybody suffers through because we all want to get better, and golf is a very humbling game. it humbles the best of us. And we're willing to go anywhere to find improvement because we all want to upgrade. But when you go to the pro, they'll take your natural movement and throw it right in the trash can. And you've got to start working on these unnatural movements. I swung this way as a kid, and it was trained right out of me. The first thing that happened to me when I won a tournament in the 8th grade, I went to a golf pro, and I had the classic swing, lifted my lead heel, had leg work through the ball. I hit a little cut, you know, that's what I played. I was a little over the top. We immediately planted my feet in the ground, turned my torso against a stable lower body, no longer lifting the lead heel and no longer over the top, but trying to maintain a perfect plane back and through. From that point on, I was searching for 25 years. When I started to study the classic swingers, I began picking up my lead heel and I started to play some good golf. The first year of my swing evolution, I broke 80 in 3 months. I'm like, hallelujah, I have to tell people about this. So I started a YouTube channel. 3 years later, I broke par. So, I mean, I think most people would kill to have that kind of a trajectory. But still, I felt like there was something missing in terms of consistency. And when I went over the top, Gabe, it put all the classic swing puzzle pieces together. I've never for a moment thought I'm ever going to swing any other way ever again. What are your opinions about the modern swing versus the way you were taught the game?
Well, I think it's, it's what they do today. Do I like it? No. I think it's harder on the body. Today they take the legs out of the swing a lot. Ben Hogan was a flowing motion. It was all from creating leverage by playing from the ground up and the feet starting the downswing and moving through it. And that's the way I was taught, that's the way I played. Today, the equipment has allowed them to do different things. And I don't think you have to be quite as athletic today to play golf as you did then. But I think if you add athleticism to what you're doing, I think you'll be better players.
Wow.
Let me see you hit another one.
All right.
I love watching you swing, Kristen. I've watched you swing over the years. We've played golf together, and this is the most fluid I've ever seen your swing. This is the most athletic I've seen your swing. And I remember a quote from Bob Toski back in the day, and he said, it's not about a powerful effort. It's about effortless power.
I like that.
And that's what the classic swingers had. They had effortless power, a lot of flow, a lot of rhythm. It looks like they were getting the most out of the least. And it's like you say, Crystal, like when you first started telling me about it, it's like throwing a ball. Like, look at this. It's a step. It's a stretch. It's inside, over, and across. And everyone can relate to throwing a ball. And see, but like you said, everyone's going backwards. Everyone's doing bowling, right? Everyone wants to bring it under and softball it, and it just doesn't make any sense.
I tell people, if you pick up a golf ball and just do that, that's a golf swing. If you look at my positions when I did that, it's everything you want in a golf swing. It's literally that simple. Just throwing a golf ball into the ground is all you have to do this correctly.
Golfers are making it so much harder on themselves to try to rechange everything when the instinctual and natural move that you've been doing since you were a child is inside and over with everything. Football, swimming, baseball, everything is this motion. For thousands of years, throwing a spear when it comes to hunting, it's this motion. And to go away from that is just good luck.
If I was gonna punch somebody overhand right, I'm gonna go just like that. You know, I'm not gonna, I can do a hook, sure, but I wanna go over. When I practiced judo, it was like this. I'm going over. And it's literally the same feeling. And so it's really no different than a throw.
That's why I think your students are getting results so fast. Because you're helping them tap into something they've been doing their whole lives that just didn't know about it and didn't know how to incorporate it into their golf swing.
Well, people are learning it now, and it really, it's so simple, it's hard for some of my students to believe.
What's that quote about simplicity you always reference, Christo?
The height of cultivation leads to simplicity. I got that from Bruce Lee.
You know, I see a lot of young instructors, I'll call them young, you know, wanting to maybe impress students. I just got to call it because I've seen it, you know, and they want to give so much information out there on, you know, the pressures in the feet and the angles and the degrees and the launches, and it's like, that's not how instruction used to be. You didn't used to overwhelm people with information and data. It was athletic, it was instinctual.
The way the game's taught today, it leads to swing confusion. You know, everybody, as soon as they change from OTT to whatever they're being taught, as soon as they leave their natural pattern, you have a movement mismatch, and they're never going to be able to feel totally comfortable ever again. You really don't want to move away from your natural pattern if you can avoid it. And the teachers who've worked with great students like Koepka or Scotty Scheffler, they didn't do that. In fact, my student Zach, hey Zach, could you come up here for a sec? Zach's a great example of an OTT swinger. He's a dynamite player, but we've known each other for a decade plus now.
At least, yeah.
But did I ever suggest you change your little OTT transition move?
No, absolutely not. I mean, whatever I had, you worked with it, and it's shown results over the years.
Well, would you mind hitting a couple balls for Gabe and I?
Absolutely.
2-iron. Gosh, that's nice, huh, Christo? It's a little bullet out there.
He hits bullets all day long. So, Zach, has anybody ever said to you before me that you have a little over motion in your transition?
Nobody's pointed it out up until probably the first couple times that I started seeing you.
Well, I noticed it right away, but because you were already a good ball striker and knowing the history of Bobby Jones and Sam Snead, I didn't say anything about it. But when you're a good ball striker like Zach, I knew the worst thing I could do was suggest, hey, why don't we try and go the other way, you know? But now we've come to understand that this is really the most efficient way to swing a club, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I gained probably 10 yards when you pointed it out for me to do it a little bit extra. And I've watched you over the years. You've gained probably 10, 15 yards.
Why don't you give us one more, man?
Well, Christo, that's so great about your journey, which it's all documented online on YouTube, so anyone at any time can go see your transformation.
Zach, you're the man. I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to the future. It's just getting better and better.
Absolutely. I can't wait for it.
Get ready to learn the 7 sacred steps of the over-the-top miracle swing that will change your game and change your life. Coming up next in the over-the-top miracle swing.